What's going on, everyone? How's it going? We're going to let some more people join into the stream before we quickly start. But the Boston Celtics catch a big time win in the Summer League, game two of the Summer League to advance to 2-0 as they beat Celtics win in complete blowout fashion here. And really, Aaron NESMITH show as the two led the way as NESMITH had 33 points. Pritchard dabbled with a triple double with 21 points, 8 rebounds, 12 assists. Edwards tacked along 14, 8, and 5. So much to talk about, Justin. As a Celtics fan today, obviously a big time win here for the Celtics in the Summer League, as we're going to start off with that. What does this win mean for the Celtics moving forward for the Summer League?
Well, first and foremost, to see the type of performances we saw tonight, and to see Aaron NESMITH perform the way he performed tonight, coming back from game one where he shot 1 of 8 from 3, and he really didn't provide that much in game one despite the Celtics winning. And one of the keys to the game was get shooters open. We did that tonight. The Celtics did not settle. They started the game off 12 of 19 from deep. And another key to the game that we said in the pregame show was push the pace and be aggressive. We saw a Romeo Langford dunk, which blew up the internet in the matter of seconds. The Celtics were aggressive tonight. They weren't settling, and they did everything better in game two than they had done in game one. And that just goes to show you how many games during the regular season have the Celtics had when both Pritchard and NESMITH have good games. It showed what they can do in both the Summer League as well as the regular season. And look what happened in the Summer League when these guys both had a great night. It's just it's very pleasing to see. It's very promising to see as well. And people are saying, oh, the Denver Nuggets were beat up by COVID. It's Summer League. I know they have talented players. I get it. But it's Summer League. There's really no excuses. The Celtics just ultimately came out and dominated from the tip tonight.
Definitely. I mean, Aaron NESMITH was on fire all night. The Nuggets really had no answer for him. Along with Peyton Pritchard, I mean, Pritchard essentially controlled the pace of the game, whatever he wanted, he got in terms of both scoring and passing. I mean, 12 assists is not something to look over. He only took 10 shots, 6 for 10, 60%. I mean, NESMITH shot 72%, 7 from 9 from beyond the arc. So just some absurd shooting numbers out of this Boston Celtics starting lineup. Not too much production out of the bench, but when your starters are playing and performing like they were tonight, that's not needed. The Boston Celtics now 2-0. That's huge for the Celtics, in my opinion. Obviously, it is Summer League, but less so for the Summer League championship that all Celtics fans are looking for. But like you said, just seeing Aaron NESMITH have a game where he scores 33, right? It's good. It's promising. Now, I'm not going to overreact, right? Will he be dropping 33 in the regular season? Probably not. No, he won't. But it shows that he has the ability to score at a very high level. So it's going to transfer, and it's going to show at the NBA stage. It's just you don't just casually score 33 points.
I think the biggest thing for Aaron NESMITH tonight was watching that first shot go through the net early on in the game. Shooters shoot. When shooters see a shot go through the bottom of the net, whether it be a free throw or a mid-range shot or even a momentum-changing three, their game just predominantly gets easier. And when Aaron NESMITH is on, the rim is just as big as wide as a gym for him, and we saw that tonight. Don't overlook his shooting as well. It's not like he took a crazy amount of shots. He took 18 and he made 13. That's 72%. And he shot 7 of 9, 78% from 3, 7 of 9. That just screams efficient. And that's just the type of player Aaron NESMITH is. Game one, he wasn't really providing you much offense. So what happened? He went out, play some defense. Unfortunately, we saw a few defensive slips tonight, but he made up for it on the other end, and he went down there and he got buckets. Something we also discussed in the pregame show was how we wanted to see aggression out of guys like Romeo Langford. Right? I said that we don't need Romeo to shoot 7 threes. We know he can make threes. We want to see how aggressive he can be. He took 4 shots. He took 1 3-pointer. He had missed it, but he only took 1 3. He was ultra aggressive tonight. He had 8 points, a rebound, and an assist. Overall, somewhat decent performance from Langford. Nothing eye-opening other than that dunk,
Justin.
but yes.
So I have some breaking news from the Celtics Talk Weekly world.
No way. What, dude? You're making me nervous.
Aaron NESMITH just reposted your story.
No way.
Talk Weekly.
No way, bro. No way. Shut up. Shut up, bro. My guy, Aaron NESMITH. No way, bro.
All right. So this brings us to actually a big time segment as our player spotlight of the game is Aaron NESMITH.
Dude, no way. No way, bro. Aaron NESMITH, bro. Dude, what? All right, let's go. Let's do this. Aaron NESMITH, player spotlight. What you got for us, Rob? 33 points, 7 rebounds, 7 of 9 from deep. How efficient is that? Why did he get the player spotlight?
Well, I mean, the stat line speaks for itself. And Payton Pritchard has been robbed, I feel like, back-to-back games because he has, both games really controlled the pace of the game. Down the stretch, but Aaron NESMITH was pouring it on offensively. 33 points, 7 from 9 from beyond the arc, scoring at all levels. We saw him in the mid-range game. We saw him attack the paint. We saw him knock down his open looks. I mean, it was hard not to give Aaron NESMITH the player of the game.
And it's funny because this is kind of Aiden pointed this out. If you don't know, Aiden's our graphic designer. Aiden pointed this out. This is like the second game where Pritchard played arguably the best basketball on the team, and it was just like taken away. But how relieving is that to see Payton Pritchard play the way that he played? I mean, I know right now the conversation's on Aaron NESMITH, but to have NESMITH and Pritchard play like that, I mean, as you saw, the Celtics just dominated tonight.
Yeah, and the best part about what Payton Pritchard is doing is I was talking about this in the pregame show. We know Pritchard can get buckets, right? He can score pretty much at will in this summer league, right? He's probably arguably one of the best players in the summer league. He was 8 points per game in his rookie season in the NBA, right? He can score at a high volume in the summer league, right? But what he's doing is we haven't seen before. He's controlling the pace of the game. He's going out there. He's running the show for the Celtics. 12 assists, 8 rebounds. I mean, Payton Pritchard's performance should not be underlooked. I mean, he had an absolute all-around great game, and there was just no stopping Pritchard tonight. And, was it a depleted Denver Nuggets team? Definitely. They have not had a lot of time to work together. They have not had, time on the court. COVID has kind of gone through that team. But without saying, you gotta look at this that's big to see confidence going into the season, to see guys play like this. This is big to see Payton Pritchard control the pace of the game like this.
And to see him shoot 4 or 5 from 3, like as much like you just couldn't get any more efficient than that, as if he didn't already have a great shooting night in game 1. I'm just super I'm a little bit I'm wondering if he'll play in Thursday's game, in Saturday's game. I know they said that Pritchard might not play the whole summer league, so I'm really skeptical to see if he plays then. But I'm just so relieved that we are halfway through summer league, and knock on wood, we're healthy. We have a healthy team, right?
Yeah.
Pritchard and NESMITH have had a great summer league. They're healthy. Langford has had a decent summer league. He's healthy. Obviously, we're going to get to the signings and stuff. We saw Jaylen Brown working out in Vegas. He's actually with the summer league team. He's been practicing with them, and he looks great. He was there courtside with Josh Richardson and Rob's boy Grant. Even though Grant should have had a uniform on tonight, not trying to really roast him, but he should have a uniform on tonight. He should have been playing. But that's relieving.
Yeah, I know. And like we said, great signs showing from the Boston Celtics young core in the summer league. A lot of promising. But with that being said, their roles are going to be in question now because the Boston Celtics, it broke in the pregame show, but we're going to talk about a lot in the postgame show. Dennis Schroeder has signed with the Boston Celtics on a 1-year, 5.9 mid-level exception contract as a prove yourself type of deal. Now, this does a lot for the Boston Celtics. I know both Justin and I have pretty much the similar view on
Outlook.
this, but
Yeah.
yeah, but I'm going to give it to you guys straight up. What this has done for the Boston Celtics is it has pretty much put them into contention next year with extreme total cap flexibility with the year prior. The Boston Celtics now have a starting lineup or a rotation of Dennis Schroeder, Marcus Smart, Josh Richardson, Jaylen Brown, Jason Tatum, Robert Williams, Al Horford, Chris Dunn, Peyton Pritchard, Aaron Nesmith, and Romeo Langford, and Enes Kanter. That's a real deep team now, something we did not have last year. That's a lot of defense, something we did not have last year. Brad Stevens has virtually fixed all problems we had last year, right? And in that process, he has added offense at the same time because guess what? Schroeder had without LeBron James, he was averaging 18 points per game along with 8 assists. Josh Richardson back with when he was back in Miami 2 seasons ago was averaging 16 points a game, right? Al Horford, he can get you some buckets if you need it. He'll give you 13 a night. Like we got, and now you mean to tell me Peyton Pritchard, Aaron Nesmith, and Romeo Langford are going to be, first of all, responsibility is not high on them. They can kind of play the game free flowing, which is big for a second and third year guys. Are you kidding me?
Yeah. Just props to Brad Stevens. So far it's just been phenomenal. I want to read you guys this tweet by the Celtics blog. Al Horford. Tristan Thompson leaves. Al Horford replaces him. Evan Fournier leaves. Josh Richardson replaces him. Kemba Walker leaves. We get Dennis Schroeder to replace him. Luke Cornett leaves. Enes Kanter comes. Shemi Ojeleye leaves. Bruno Fernando comes and makes his Celtics debut look pretty solid tonight. And then Tremont Waters is gone. We get Chris Dunn. Notice that. The Celtics, with what they lost, not only are they upgrades, but we got somebody in return for them. Something that Danny Ainge struggled to do with Kyrie Irving, Al Horford, Isaiah Thomas, Terry Rozier, Marcus Morris, Gordon Hayward. And just tremendous front office decision by Brad Stevens. And you guys know I'm a big Brad Stevens fan. But what he's been able to do is just turn this team that really had no direction, right? Arian basically said it in the group chat, turn something with no direction into something with a direction without fully rebuilding. What we did was we went out and we got rotational players who aren't going to definitely win you a championship, but they're sure as hell going to go out in there and help you compete for one.
Yeah. And like we said, Dennis Schroeder, a lot of people are saying, he missed out on a lot of money. He did. He passed up on an $84 million contract extension from the Lakers. I'm so happy he did that. But you said it best. Brad Stevens has done something Danny Ainge hasn't done in, I'm going to say 2011. He let so many guys walk for free.
Yeah.
Dating back to Ray Allen. He never replaced Ray Allen. He let all these guys walk for virtually nothing. Look, let's name off a list. Gordon Hayward, Terry Rozier, Al Horford, Jay Crowder. He traded Jay Crowder, but like Kelly Olynyk, he let walk for nothing. Never replaced him, right? Like, you got to replace your starters. You got to. And do you know what Brad Stevens did? Brad Stevens says, okay, I'm going to flip the switch. I'm going to replace these guys with people who actually work together, fit a system, and give us direction for the next 5 years.
And something that Chris Mannix had pointed out via the NBC Sports Boston's broadcast tonight was, when's the last time the Celtics had a defensive guard? Maybe Rajon Rondo back in 2014. But since then, Isaiah Thomas, Kyrie Irving, Kemba Walker, predominantly great scorers, but they couldn't give you anything on the defensive end. Dennis Schroeder, on the other hand, a playmaker. He can score. He can get to the basket. Not the best three-point shooter, but he might be able to give you 1 or 2 threes a game. And then, more importantly, he's a menace on the defensive end. He really, and if you guys remember, in 2015, the first round, Celtics versus Hawks, he was just an absolute menace, and he picked apart guys like Isaiah Thomas and Avery Bradley. Every time Schroeder touched the ball, the Celtics crowd just absolutely tore him apart and booed him.
And do you know what I love about Dennis Schroeder coming to Boston? He's 27. He's still, we got him for a year, obviously, but say if he balls out for us next year, right? And Bradley Beal doesn't work out or whatever, right? We get far, make the Eastern Conference Finals, let's say. We can sign him back to now a deal where he's worth it. Right? Even if we don't, like, obviously, if he's looking for $20 million, I'm not paying Dennis Schroeder $20 million. The reason why I like this deal so much is because it's for $6 million.
$5 million, yeah.
It's $6 million. Yeah, like if you mean to tell me you get Dennis Schroeder for $6 million, I would not a chance.
Especially when he thought his market was 84.
Yeah, so this is huge for the Celtics, and I do think people might look at me kind of like I'm crazy, but no. Justin and I said all this whole offseason, we said, not a star. You got to build around the two kids. Build around your foundation. And what happened? We built around the foundation.
I would have been kind of upset in a way. Obviously, I would have loved Bradley Beal, but you got to look at it kind of two ways where, okay, well, if we had went out and traded for Bradley Beal, not only waited for him to become a free agent, but say if we traded him, we're giving up at least 3 to 4 rotational players for one player.
Pritchard, Williams, Hicks,
NESMITH probably.
Smart. Yeah.
And we're talking about now the Celtics have depth. We wouldn't have had depth if we went out and traded for Alonzo Ball or a Bradley Beal.
Depth. This is real depth. This is something we haven't seen in a whole year. This is 2 years, I'd say. This is real depth.
And no kidding, we would obviously love to have a Beal or a Lillard or a Leonard or Alonzo Ball. But at the same time, we don't need it. We have people who got to stop overlooking the abundance of Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum, the dynamic duo. They're all-stars, superstars in the making if Jason Tatum already isn't, right? And this kind of feels like that podcast that we lost the recording to, because this is exactly how it went. This is the emotions and the feelings that we had felt. The Celtics don't need a Bradley Beal. They have a Jason Tatum. If there's people out there that think we should have traded Beal for Brown or vice versa, if you're not going to win with Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum, you're not going to win with Tatum and Beal or a big three of Beal, because guess what? Outside of those 3 players after that trade, who do you initially have? And who are you going to have to afford? So that really opens up a big question there. But the Celtics, Brad Stevens, did this perfectly. Maybe there were some better players we could have went out there and gotten, hands down. But I think we'll be just fine, and I don't think we'll be fighting between the 7th, 10th, and 11th spot in the Eastern Conference when it all comes down.
If you want to go read my article, go read that at the Celtics Talk Weekly website. It's thecelticstalkweekly.com. I pretty much essentially summed this up. I honestly have it up right here. I can read you a short my little memo on the Boston Celtics. I essentially, to sum it up, said that, listen, the Boston Celtics, right, have replaced their lackluster offense and inconsistent offensive players with consistent defensive guys. If they can, I said, with the addition of one more bench scorer in behind the leaders of Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum, the Celtics will find themselves back into the top 3 behind newly hired coach Ime Udoka leading the way. I essentially said that, listen, we get Dennis Schroeder, we're back in the top 3. You want to know why? Because I'll tell you why. We got off the bench, we have Horford. We got maybe Richardson, maybe Smart off the bench. I mean, the idea of Marcus Smart coming off the bench to me again is just amazing. It's amazing. And I think we're going to compete. We're going to play defense. I do think offensively we're going to have some dry spell games. I think we're going to run into a couple games a year where, Brown and Tatum both can't carry the load. And, we're going to run into those. But, Schroeder gives us 15 points a game. And, Kemba Walker, mind you, was giving us 19 points a game on poor defense, right? On poor playmaking, on inconsistent play. So you replace Kemba Walker with Dennis Schroeder, and you mean to tell me Evan Fournier, who averaged 11 points per game in his tenure with the Boston Celtics, now get replaced with Josh Richardson, who will average anywhere from like 9 to 12, and he'll play lockdown defense game in and game out.
Yeah, give it to you on both ends.
And then you add to the mix, let's add Al Horford, an experienced vet who can give you 13 points a game, 6 rebounds, 4 assists, and some stellar defense, right? And then let's add on the depth from Chris Dunn, who can check in and give you some decent minutes and play some defense, right? And then let's add our rookies. And then let's add our Payton Pritchard, our Aaron NESMITH, our Romeo Langford. Like, I couldn't be more happy with how Brad Stevens constructed this roster. And you mean to tell me next offseason we have a Max Slot in play?
Yeah,
Let's forget about it.
It's incredible. And something big that Brad Stevens has been able to do is suit the needs of Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown. Because once these two get frustrated, especially not just one, but both. Once one of these guys get frustrated, this whole thing could just blow out of proportion, and the Celtics could just be screwed. And we not only might we lose one, we may lose both of them. That's why I think it's so important that we need to stop looking over Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum. Stop saying we need a star. We have 2 stars. If not 2, we have 1. We have a Jason Tatum and then an upcoming Jaylen Brown. I mean, come on. We have it. We have it right in front. We have it right in our hands.
You know what I like from this, too, is that it kind of prevents – first of all, I think Brad Stevens did exactly what the Jays wanted. I think they love Ime Udoka. I think Tatum
I think your mic went muted. This happened in the pregame show. But what Rob is saying, I mean, the Celtics have just been able to do everything right. Brad Stevens.
There we go.
You good? Brad Stevens has been able to do everything right so far.
Yeah, so where did I leave off on? The FIBA World Cup?
Yep.
All right, so Jaylen Brown had a relationship with Ime in the FIBA World Cup, right? You bring in Damon Stoudemire, that raises a level of respect from the players within the roster because Damon Stoudemire's been in the NBA. He's done that, right? Now you bring in Schroeder, who's a defensive guard, gives the ball to the 2 kids more. You're bringing Richardson, who's going to back up and play 3-and-D. You're bringing in Horford, who's an experienced vet, right? You're bringing Chris Dunn, who can give you some decent minutes, right? He can tell the kids now, the Jays, if they try to pull this whole, we want out. Brad can sit down and say, well, hold on, I gave you what you needed to win. The kids don't have an excuse anymore. They got a beautiful roster around them to win.
Yeah. I'm just blown away with, and people are like, oh, Schroeder this, Schroeder that. We got Dennis Schroeder for $5 million, $5.9 million. He wanted what, $21 million a year? He wanted overall $84 million a year over 4 years. Give me a break. A $5.9 million deal for Dennis Schroeder is exactly what the Celtics need. The Celtics needed a point guard as well. If we were another big, because we are also in the rumors to get Larry Marketing, if we were to sign another damn big man, I would have just been, I don't know. The Celtics needed a playmaker, more importantly, a veteran playmaker who knows what he's doing on the court on both ends, and that's exactly what we got. Schroeder is known to be a vocal leader, and the Celtics just needed every bit of this deal.
Yeah, it was huge. It was much needed. The Boston Celtics, then again, are playing Summer League basketball. Their next matchup is this upcoming Thursday, August 12th, against the Orlando Magic at 7 o'clock. That game will be on NBC Sports Boston. They get a fellow matchup against Jalen Suggs, the 4th, 5th pick in the NBA draft.
Cole Anthony as well.
Cole Anthony, that's a good test for the Celtics team. Obviously we're going to talk about it in the pregame, but I said this, before we close out, I talked about this last post game. What do you want to see transfer over from this game into next?
I really want to see consistency. That's what I really want to see, right? Can Payton Pritchard, if he does play, can Payton Pritchard come out in game 3 and produce the same type of performance we saw in games 1 and 2? I also want to see Aaron NESMITH continue to show his shooting. He had an awful game 1, great game 2. Let's hope he can stay consistent and get a great game 3. Let's hope he doesn't dip down. I'd also like to see Yamadar have a good game. He had a great first game, kind of silent here in the second game. We saw spurts of him, but I really want to see him to get going. I just want to see a lot of consistency heading into this third game.
I agree. I want to see Aaron NESMITH keep that hot hand. I want to see Payton Pritchard continue to move the ball, get guys open, keep knocking down his shots. Like I said, the Boston Celtics do play the Orlando Magic this Thursday, the 12th at 7 o'clock, facing off against rookie Jalen Suggs. That will be on NBC Sports Boston. Now, I say this we talk about this every podcast, every episode. If you're not following us on social media, go follow us on all of our social medias up at the top. The Celtics Talk Weekly on Instagram and TikTok. On Twitter, Celtics_weekly. And we got a podcast, the Celtics Talk Weekly. It's pretty much this, but, it's this, but better,
with
in my
Ian,
opinion.
With
Ian. We got Ian. And
Ian is at the Woo Sox tonight.
Yes, and Ian is a great listen, a great character. So it should be a good one. Like we said, we got a lot to talk about. I'm Rob. That's been Justin. Go Celtics.